You've watched the video, maybe 100 videos. You felt the fire. That surge of energy where you genuinely believe this time is different. This time you're going to wake up at 6 a.m., hit the gym, eat clean, work on the thing, build the life. And then the next morning comes. The alarm goes off. And somehow the fire is just gone. Like it was never there. So you watch another video, read another book, find another quote, wait to feel ready again. Here's the hard truth nobody in the motivation industry wants to tell you. Motivation was never going to work. Not because you're weak, but because motivation is the wrong tool for the job. Today, we're going to look at what the science actually says about how consistent action works and why the people who seem endlessly driven aren't relying on motivation at all. Here's the model most people are operating on, whether they realize it or not. Feel motivated, take action, get results. It sounds logical. And it feels true in the moment when you're fired up after a video. Action does come easily. The problem is that motivation is an emotion, and emotions are temporary. They spike, they fade, and they're heavily influenced by things completely outside your control: your sleep, your stress levels, your blood sugar, the weather, whether someone was rude to you this morning. Building a life around waiting to feel motivated is like only driving your car when the weather is perfect. Occasionally, it works. Most of the time, you're just not going anywhere. And there's a deeper problem. The more you consume motivational content, the more your brain starts to treat the consumption as a substitute for the action. Watching someone talk about achieving things gives your brain a small taste of the feeling of achievement without any of the actual work. You feel inspired. Your brain logs that as progress. And the urgency to actually do the thing quietly fades. Motivation content can literally make you less likely to take action. That's the trap. Here's the finding that changes everything. Motivation doesn't reliably precede action. More often, action precedes motivation. Behavioral psychologists call this the action-motivation loop. You don't wait to feel motivated and then act. You act even a little, even badly, and the motivation follows from the momentum of having started. You've experienced this. You didn't want to go to the gym, you dragged yourself anyway, and 20 minutes in you were glad you went. You didn't feel like writing, you opened the document and just started typing something, and an hour later you were in flow. The motivation came after, not before. This is backed by neuroscience. The part of your brain responsible for motivation, the nucleus accumbens, doesn't fully activate until you're already engaged in a behavior. It needs the action to start before it joins the party. In other words, you can't think your way into motivation. You have to act your way into it. Stanford psychologist B.J. Fogg has spent decades studying behavior change. One of his most important findings is that lasting change doesn't come from motivation or willpower, it comes from identity. There's a fundamental difference between someone who thinks I want to exercise more and someone who thinks I'm a person who exercises. The first is an intention, the second is an identity. When something is part of your identity, you don't need motivation for it. You don't debate whether to brush your teeth in the morning. You don't need to feel inspired to put on a seatbelt. These things are just what you do because of who you are. The goal isn't to get more motivated. The goal is to become the kind of person for whom the action is just, obvious, non-negotiable, part of the script. And identity is built through small, repeated actions, not through grand gestures or moments of peak motivation. Every time you do the thing, even badly, even reluctantly, you cast a vote for that identity. Enough votes, and the belief shifts. There's a reason professional athletes, writers, surgeons, and musicians don't talk much about motivation. They talk about routines, schedules, systems. Goals tell you where you want to go. Systems are what actually get you there. Author and habits researcher James Clear puts it, well, you don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. When motivation disappears, and it will, your system is what's left. And if your system is solid, you keep moving anyway. Here's the reframe. Stop trying to feel ready. Stop waiting for the spark. Stop consuming content designed to make you feel fired up for 20 minutes and then wondering why it doesn't last. The people who consistently do hard things aren't more motivated than you. They've just stopped making their actions conditional on their feelings. They've accepted that most of the time, doing the work feels like just doing the work. Unremarkable, sometimes tedious, occasionally difficult. And they've made peace with that, because they've disconnected the action from the emotional state. Discipline isn't some rare character trait that certain lucky people have. It's what naturally develops when you've built the right systems and repeated them enough that the identity has shifted. It starts with one small, unsexy action. Today, not when you feel ready. 3 shifts that will actually change how you operate, not how you feel for the next 20 minutes. First, lower the bar to start. Your system should be so small, it feels almost embarrassing. Not, go to the gym for an hour, just, put on my gym clothes. Not, write 1,000 words. Just, open the document and write 1 sentence. The bar isn't about limiting your output, it's about eliminating the resistance to starting. Once you're in motion, you'll almost always do more. But the commitment is just to the tiny first step. Every day, no negotiation. Second, design your environment, not your mindset. Motivation tries to change how you feel. Environment design changes what's easy. Put your running shoes by the door. Put your phone in another room during work hours. Put the book on your pillow. Put the healthy food at eye level. Your behavior follows the path of least resistance. Design that path intentionally, and you'll stop needing to rely on willpower or inspiration to do the right thing. Third, track identity, not outcomes. Instead of tracking whether you hit your goal, track whether you showed up. A simple daily tick. Did I do the thing today? Yes or no? Not how well, not how much. Just, did I show up? This builds the identity of someone who shows up. And over time, that identity becomes self-reinforcing. You do it because it's who you are, not because you feel like it. These aren't motivational tips, they're structural changes. And structural changes outlast feelings every single time. Motivation is a wave. It comes, it goes, it's beautiful when it's here, and useless when it isn't. Systems are the tide. Slow, consistent, unstoppable. Not exciting, deeply effective. Motivation is a wave. It comes and goes, beautiful when it's here, useless when it isn't. Systems are the tide. Slow, consistent, unstoppable. Not exciting, but deeply effective. The goal isn't to feel more motivated, it's to need motivation less. Next video, why your brain confuses comfort with happiness, and how chasing comfort may be quietly draining your life of meaning. It's one of the most important videos here. See you there.